Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. For today's video, we're going to be talking about the very best performing altcoins in years past, and we're also going to be talking about their big picture market cycles that have been playing out. We're going to map out their Elliott wave structure so that we know exactly how much further these altcoins and Bitcoin still have in their cycles before a major cycle top, and we're also going to be analyzing the Bitcoin halvings, taking a look at when our next halving is going to be, and trying to factor in how the next few years of price action is going to go for us from here. If you're new and just find this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing. Make sure to hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing videos like the one provided for you here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and with that being said, let's jump right into it. Alrighty guys, so as we're getting into this, we're going to start by taking a look at the Bitcoin CME futures chart because there's a lot of big things that are happening for Bitcoin. Now this is something we have been talking about for the last few days and really the last couple months. What we're seeing is really just us grinding below this 50-day moving average. We rejected here after our most recent attempt at about the end of September, and we kind of just been consolidating sideways, coiling tighter and tighter, expecting that a big move was going to come one way or another. And I was talking to you guys about how this 50-day moving average is going to be kind of the line in the sand, where this is going to dictate the direction the market's going to take. This is a trending indicator, and it's been a very valuable trending indicator throughout the last few years of Bitcoin. And what we're seeing here right now is Bitcoin is actually flipping outside of the resistance and it's flipping it as support. So as you guys can see, we had a lot of volume that came in here, which is exactly what we'd want to see in a breakout. I didn't know exactly what direction it was going to take. We just knew that a big move was coming. And so now that we're actually above the 50-day moving average, that really sets the direction of the short-term trend. And we have a couple different ways that the market's going to move. Now, one of the things that I've been talking to you guys about is the US dollar chart and how important this is that we actually close below the 50-day moving average. We're going to immediately jump into this and then we're going to get back into the Bitcoin chart. But the reason I want to talk to you guys about what is happening right now is because this is the most important level and one of the most important consolidations that we have been in the DXY for a minute. Now, as you guys can see, if we go all the way back here to the very beginning of this trend, this is the very bottom of the bear market for the dollar, and this is the very top of Bitcoin's bear market. So this was Bitcoin at 65K, this was Bitcoin at 69K. And then once the dollar broke out and has been rallying above this moving average, we've been seeing Bitcoin in this entire downtrend, right? If we zoom out, we can see that Bitcoin's been in a big picture downtrend. This was 65, this was 69,000, and you can kind of see how that stacks up on this chart. As the dollar's been trending up, we have seen temporary pierces below this moving average, but the dip has always been bought up. The price always regains support of the moving average, and that's been the case. We've had multiple different bear traps among this trend, and most recently with this drop below it here, we're looking at another attempt at one of those. But the question is this actually a bull trap, or are we going to break down? And as of right now, we have seen early this morning, the market did close above this moving average and hit 111. As of now on the daily, we're closing below, but we still have plenty of time left to go before we truly cement ourselves here. But if we start to see this dollar pull back at resistance, you know, we could peak up a little bit higher, but if we see this thing pull back, and it starts to close back below this moving average, then that's really going to set in the stage for a bigger breakdown and at least another attempt at this previous high, right? That's going to be about 109. And so at the end of the day, we have a really important decision to be made, whether this is going to break down or whether this is just another bear trap and we go up higher. And we still have this previous high at about 120 that we could come up here and hit. And so just keep that in mind, guys. A lot of volatility in the market, at least in the short term. As we're getting back into Bitcoin and flipping this moving average with good volume, we want to see how high this is going to go. You know, obviously speaking, what I stated in my last video is if we can get above about this 25, really $23,000 to $24,000 level, if we can get above this level here, that really cements that the reversal is in for our bear market, because that will be a confirmed double bottom formation. We've had two different attempts at a breakdown, and if we can actually make a higher high, that's an entire reversal of our bear trend, so all the way up to 69,000. And that would be the beginning of our new bull trend. Now guys, as we're talking about this, I wanted to actually get into some of these altcoins and really explain their big pictures, talking about some of the best performing altcoins and how they're stacking up into this current cycle, because I think this is really important when we're talking about the big picture Elliott wave count of Bitcoin. It's important to talk about the altcoins as well, because it really factors into what we're going to expect to see heading into our next cycle. The stronger of an idea that we can get heading into our next cycle, the better of a trading plan that we're going to have, and going into taking profits heading into it as well. Now guys, the top chart I have here is going to be Binance Coin, and this one on the bottom is going to be Matic. The reason I'm talking about both of these today is because these have been these are big market cap cryptos, some of the top cryptos in our market. Binance Coin has been one for a long time now, and Matic just recently became one in our last cycle. Both of these follow each other very similar inside of their price action. The reason I wanted to cover these today is because we're going to map out their Elliott wave count. We're going to talk about where they're at in the big picture so that we know how much higher that they're going to go and what to expect heading into this next cycle as well. Now guys, what we're going to look at is the Elliott wave count and the altcoins, because they're actually a little bit easier to see than Bitcoin itself. And I'll explain that as we get into this. Now, first things first, we're going to take a look at the first cycle for Binance Coin, and we're also going to overlay Elliott waves to show you kind of what they look like. So on the left, we have the picture of Elliott wave theory, and then on the right, we're going to have we're actually going to map out that count on the Binance chart. So first things first, guys, the very beginning of an impulse is wave one. And I'm going to break this down so that you guys can actually learn to apply it inside of these crypto charts so that you guys can actually see what is going on in the big picture as well. Now, inside of our first impulse, you guys got to keep in mind that this is the very beginning of anything for Binance Coin. This is when we get added to exchanges. So any impulses that happen are going to be the very beginning of this wave one. And so we're going to go through here and count our subwaves. Keep in mind that inside of every impulse, you have 3 impulse waves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. So they're literally an impulse fractal of themselves. So this 1 wave has 5 impulse waves inside of that. This 3 wave has 5 impulse waves inside of that. This 5 wave, same thing, right? And we're going to map those out inside of the Binance chart. This was wave 1, our first impulse, and that took us from about pretty much 1 cent down to 0 cents, approximately, just fractions of a penny. And then we went all the way up into wave 3 to $3, back down to 5 cents, and then into wave 5, and this is the top of that 2018 cycle. This is when Bitcoin peaked at 20,000. It went all the way up to $24, right? This was the 2018 bear market. This is our first correction. This is the A, B, C correction. A, B, C here. So that completed our wave 1 for Binance Coin. Binance Coin finished wave 1 in the 2018 bear market. And now we go into the next cycle. So now as we're getting into our wave 3, what we can see here, what we need is the same 3 impulse, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, A, B, C. But look how much bigger wave 3 is. The same thing happened inside of this cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look how big that impulse is that we saw here for Binance Coin. And what's interesting is the fact that we're still not even done with this. What we have is one more final impulse inside of our wave 5, this one right here, before this is completely done. And then we'd have another one of these ABCs. And so guys, what we're seeing inside of these markets is still a market cycle that isn't even completed yet. And so when we're looking at this, I like to look at this market cycle of Matic, because Matic looks very similar to the same price action as Binance Coin. And when we're counting our Elliott waves inside of the Matic chart, what we're seeing basically proves that we still have one more 5 wave left, because not only does Binance Coin have one, but Matic does as well. And we can count our waves in here. So let's go through here and let's count our waves. This would be wave 1 for Matic, A, B, C back down, and then wave 3 is here, and here's our subwaves. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. A, B, C. So we've already finished wave 3, and what we still need inside of Matic is a big picture wave 5. Now keep in mind for Matic, this is Matic's first wave still. We're still in Matic's first impulse. So obviously Binance Coin is further ahead in its big picture market cycles. This is the same thing for Matic as it was for its first cycle for Binance Coin. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 ABC. We're still working on that for Matic. We finished wave 1, we finished wave 3, and what we're getting ready for is our final wave 5 of this short-term cycle. This will be a big picture first impulse, right? In the same way that this was for Binance Coin, this entire move will be for, well, should draw it all the way over here. This entire move will be for Matic, right? We're just in the early stages of some of these cycles, and that's why I'm drawing these for you guys, is to show you that not only do our older altcoins, being Binance Coin that's been here all the way since 2017, not only does this one show that we still have one more fifth wave to come, but many of the altcoins that just came around during our last cycle, this one was added to exchanges in 2019, this one still needs its wave 5 as well, and that will be a completion of a one wave impulse for Matic, and this will be a completion of a wave 5 or a wave 3 impulse for Binance Coin, right? And so all of these are going to be at different points. For Binance Coin, we're going to be at the top of a wave 3 once we finish this next impulse up to wave 5. And for Matic, once it does its final 5-wave impulse up, it will be the completion of this first wave right here, wave 1, right? So that just shows where everything is in the big picture, and we use Elliott waves to help us map out and get a bigger picture of where that actually is. And we could do the exact same thing for the big picture of Bitcoin, and I've already gone ahead and done so. Now, when we're applying what's happening with Bitcoin to altcoins, what I find is interesting is the fact that, in my opinion, the Elliott waves look even better with some of these altcoins being Binance Coin and Matic. These things are holding support very, very well. In fact, if we come down here and scrunch the chart to just simply Binance Coin has had one of the smallest sell-offs in comparison to many altcoins. It outperformed Bitcoin its entire cycle. It only corrected 74%. Bitcoin corrected about the same, but it's actually outperformed its Bitcoin pair. Binance Coin has made new all-time highs against its Bitcoin pair. Not many altcoins have done that. Matic is kind of in a similar situation where it's done better performing than many of the very beginning altcoins of that last cycle. Whatever the strength is showing is where the money is flowing at the end of the day, and we need to remember that. Now, when we're looking in the Bitcoin chart, we're going to also map out our Elliott wave count here, so this is going to give us an idea of where we're going to still be as far as where we still have to go. And I've looked at this a couple different ways, and the way that I personally view this cycle is this Elliott wave count. And this is going to differ from some of my last videos, but I feel like this is going to be a little bit more of an accurate Elliott wave count to go off of. Now, going off of our first cycle, this is going to be wave 1. So let's come over here and let's take this exact same chart that we were working with and let's apply it over here. Let's move it over in this corner so that you guys can kind of see. We need to map out our first impulse. So our first impulse is our first impulse waves, our first 3 set of impulses. That's going to be the completion of wave 1. And we can see that right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have this big extended 5 wave, right? So instead of wave 3 and wave 4 being the biggest, sometimes what you're going to see inside of crypto and commodities is that this wave 5 overextends, right? And that's exactly what we saw. Wave 3 was still much bigger than wave 1 all the way down here, but wave 5 was much bigger than all of them. And sometimes that does happen with crypto. But nonetheless, it's still the same thing. We've completed wave 1. That was our first impulse right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C back down. That is the completion of this first wave. Now, what we see here is our next move. This is wave 3, what we're looking at. What we're looking at now is wave 3. We're looking at our next 3 set of impulse waves. And the way that I look at this on the Bitcoin chart is simply, this was our first wave, and then wave 3 was our entire top taking us to $1,200. And we can see the impulse waves here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's only going to be 3 sets of 3 for wave 3. ABC correction, that's going to be the top of wave 3 and wave 4. And then our entire 2017 cycle was the completion of this wave 5 and the completion of this big picture wave 3 right here. Okay, so if that makes sense to you guys, where we're at on the big picture, we finished wave 1. Wave 1 was this cycle. Wave 3 goes like this. And that was our 2018 bear market, was the completion of this big picture move here. And then what we're looking at here on the big picture for our completion of wave 5, we finished wave 1. We finished wave 3 and wave 4, and what we're looking at is a big picture wave 5. In my opinion, what we're going to be completing in our next cycle is the next big picture wave 1, wave 3, and wave 5. And what we've already completed so far is wave 1, wave 3, wave 4, and what we need right now is the very big picture of our wave 5. And in my opinion, that is where the Bitcoin cycle is. We are truly at a major cycle top for Bitcoin. And this is going to be, a multi-year trend that's going to be playing out for Bitcoin that's going to lead to a multi-cycle top. And a lot of people are going to debate with me on this. A lot of people are going to say, oh man, this wave 3 is way off. You've drawn this way too long. This should be your wave 3 and this should be your wave 5. and then, you know, the people are going to differ on this. But in my opinion, the way that this stacks up for me, I think that what we're getting up inside of our next cycle is literally the very final impulse of our first wave. I'm not saying Bitcoin's dead. Bitcoin's going to keep doing its thing. It's going to keep going into new cycles. I'm just saying that our first impulse, our first cycle for Bitcoin, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is almost completed. And that's going to be our next cycle, is the very top of this entire market cycle. And so that's why I believe that there's going to be a lot of retail money coming into the market, because in the retail phase is the very top of the cycle, right? That's where all of the laggards get into it. That's where all of the dumb money gets into it. And that's what I believe that we're getting ready for. And when we're looking at it and applying it to different altcoins, let's get Matic back in here as well. When we're looking at this and applying it to different altcoins, we're kind of seeing the same thing. I mean, with Binance Coin, we finished wave 1, ABC. We're working on wave 3, right? So we haven't even finished wave 3. We finished wave 1 of 3, wave 3 of 3, and what we're needing is wave 5 of 3. So all of these are going to be at different points, right? Binance Coin will be at the top of a wave 3, waiting for a wave 5. Matic itself will only be the completion of a wave 1. So all of these altcoins are going to be at different points. What that tells me is, wrong chart. What that tells me is after this wave 5, we'll get another one of these bear markets that plays out. You know, another one of these multi-year cycles that plays out, and then that's going to be kind of like this move, this big ABC. And as far as what we're looking at on the time frames, and this could actually lead us into a multi-year bear market, which is why for me, at the end of this next cycle, I'm going to be doing my part by taking a lot of heavy profits, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see the top of this cycle play out much quicker than prior cycles have. Now I'm going to delete this. I'm going to remove these drawing tools here, and we're going to talk about how the halvings kind of factor into all of this, and kind of how this is going to play into the next couple years for Bitcoin price. This is going to be the completion of this video, and so I kind of got into a lot of stuff that might not make a lot of sense for you guys, but I felt like it was important to talk about it, even if it's a little bit more advanced than many people are going to be able to follow along with, because I think that it really is important looking at the big picture of Bitcoin, because I foresee this as a major cycle top of an entire multi-year uptrend, right? Bitcoin's been doing this since 2010. So for us to top, you know, that's going to be a 12 to 15 year cycle that we're looking at, depending on where you're gauging from the beginning of Bitcoin. And so when that's factoring in, these halvings have been a big factor with the upside price movement for Bitcoin. And we can see that every time we have one of these halvings, the price skyrockets. Every single time that has been the case, even into our last cycle. Now here's the thing, guys. The difference with our last cycle is we didn't even finish our impulses. We finished wave 1, we finished wave 3, and we still need wave 5 before this thing's even done. My opinion is that this next halving, instead of it being a major catalyst for upward price appreciation, I believe that our next cycle is going to run up, and this is going to end up being a major topping point. Instead of people actually buying at the halving like we have in years past and then it skyrockets up, I actually think that this halving is going to be a little bit more of a sell the news type of event, right? Buy the rumor, sell the news. So far, every one of these has been an early thing, right? Everybody that buys the halving gets in early and then the market skyrockets. And that's been the case for every single one of these cycles. Our last cycle was a little bit smaller than any of the other ones. But if this next cycle ends up being a little bit quicker and we run up quicker than we have in some of these other ones, then we're going to end up seeing that this halving is going to be a bigger picture market cycle top than it will be some type of buy the dip opportunity, or, you know, buy early, I should say, because that has been a major mover inside of the price appreciation for Bitcoin. And so these are big things to understand, guys. If we are actually looking at a major wave 5 of 5, this is going to be a major impulse, right? This is going to be the completion of an entire first cycle. If that's the case, it would make sense that our next halving would actually be sell the news type of event, because it would be the major cycle top. It's not going to be some catalyst for new price appreciation. If our cycles have already finished and we're already at wave 5 of 5, then we're not going to be expecting that this next halving is actually going to be a major catalyst for new all-time highs. I expect it would be the opposite, and it's all going to depend on how quick it takes Bitcoin to run to new all-time highs. If we start seeing Bitcoin rally up really quick, this thing starts breaking all-time highs even into 2023 at some point, or close to that point, then we're definitely going to see the potential that this ends up being, at new all-time highs, into price discovery by the time this new halving happens. And if we're sitting into new all-time highs and we're still haven't even had the next Bitcoin halving, I'm definitely not going to be holding to the next halving. I might hold, up until the halving, or at least close to, but I'm definitely going to be pulling profits throughout that entire period of time. And that's what I'm looking at inside of these market cycles, guys. We're looking at a big picture cycle top. We're seeing that with Binance Coin. Even though it's not the top of its wave 5, this is only going to be the top of its wave 3. It's still the big picture cycle top. Matic, it's the same thing. Matic's only been around for one cycle, so this is going to be its first impulse here. Just the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So our next cycle is going to be a major cycle top for a lot of these big picture market cycles. And I think a lot of people are going to underestimate that. And, at the end of the day, it's unfortunate. It's just the way things are. But I'm not writing off that there's going to be new cycles. There definitely will. After this, we'll have another one of these bear markets. And then, in my opinion, we'll just have another slow buildup. If we see a quick cycle top, then we would expect to see another multi-year process similar to this type of a cycle. And maybe we even make another, multi-year bear market on top of that before we start going up. I'm not trying to predict all of that stuff. All I'm saying is we are looking at a major wave 5 cycle top across the board. It doesn't matter whether it's a 1-wave cycle top, a 3-wave cycle top, or Bitcoin being a major cycle top of all 5 waves. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking for our next cycle. And so I want to really pound this into your guys' head. I repeat a lot of stuff, but it's because I think it's really important, and it's important that I hound these things into your guys' perspectives so that you don't forget it. We need to be taking a lot of profits throughout this entire next run up. In fact, I would be looking at taking a heavy amount of profits and watch, with a lot of caution during this next bear market, depending on how it stacks up. Because if we end up flipping the script, if we end up topping early compared to other cycles, and we do a multi-year bear market instead of a multi-year bull market, you don't want to be the guy stuck dollar cost averaging into a bunch of altcoins that are going to be dead forever. You want to be making sure that you're playing it smart, you're taking profits into this next bull run, because now more so than ever, I'm not really expecting a whole lot more of these big impulses like we've had in years past. The Elliott wave count, to me, is showing that a major cycle top is coming, and that's most likely going to lead to a multi-year bear market. Whether that multi-year bear market ends up being one like this, or whether that multi-year bear market ends up being like an actual multi-year bear market, I don't know. We're going to watch and see, but this is the video I had for you. If you found value in this, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these amazing updates. If you guys want to join the Discord server, download my free ebook. Links are in the description. For the people that actually like to sign up for my VIP, follow all the trades that I'm making, all the course stuff. If you guys want to follow any of that type of stuff, NFT picks, it's all going to be taught to you guys inside of my Discord. So to get access to that, you guys can sign up through my website. Links are in the description for that. Thank you guys so much for the support. Hold on, hold tight. We're going to make it through all of this, and there's definitely going to be a lot of profit to be had. Thank you guys so much, and with that being said, I'll catch you in the next one. As always, peace out.